Good evening, Lake Orion. Well, it's a bright, wonderful day out. I'm your host, and I am Taormina. Yes, indeed. It's between Taorminas here on ONTV. I'm your host, Anthony Taorminas. Sammy, how you doing?
Hanging in there.
Those of you wondering where Ian Weatherspoon is, Ian is still on probation as we speak. All right, we want to talk about most of it's going to be very, very grim. But, let's talk about some positives. Let's first talk about the Dragons. The Dragons are right now 4-2 in football. They beat Troy Athens, had a masterful second half. Obviously, and you've noticed the Dragons have adopted a new mindset, a very antagonistical, villainistic approach. What do you think about that?
Well, you're a history nerd, so you should figure this one out easily. But, in wrestling terms, it's the word face and a heel. Of course, the face, the Kai baby face, is usually like the good person. Now, the Dragons are right now is type of the heel mentality, which is the bad guy approach. Of course, Friday was Troy Athens' homecoming, and of course they just had that second half where they just ended up taking down the Red Hawks. Now they got another homecoming opponent this week in Seaholm, which is going to be their homecoming. So it's going to be a very interesting challenge. I asked myself this: why would you want to book Lake Orion on your homecoming? Why? It's pretty much a it's never a good thing when you're playing a team like Orion on your homecoming, because usually Orion comes out and wins those games.
So you're looking at but have you noticed a change in swag, a change in momentum for the Dragons since winning the game against Southfield?
And it really started the Oxford game, because this was a team that, in that fourth quarter when Oxford was only coming back from down 3 points, they could have made a decision either to crack or go out there and put the game away, and they pulled the game away. And then, of course, the Southfield Arts and Tech game, where that this team had a really good start, really controlled the game, really controlled the tempo of that game. I felt like there were at times I didn't think that the Southfield Arts and Tech Warriors were even in that game.
Well, all due respect, I got to disagree with you, because you've got the I really think it started at Southfield, because if you look at it, they were counting the Dragons out. A lot of the press, the pundits, all them,
right,
they were counting the Dragons out. Didn't think the Dragons would have a chance. And what happened was, so the Dragons adopted this mindset of, look, there's not a lot of people that like the way Orion plays. So you play with what you have. You have that mindset where you have that chip on your shoulder. You have the, you have that chip on your shoulder. A lot of people a lot of teams, a lot of people are disrespecting you. It's, so it's like you just go out there, you take care of business, and you move on.
Yeah,
take it one game at a time.
That's what Orion's doing, is they're taking a game at a time. And, look at this. Everybody's talking about Southfield Arts and Tech, Clarkston,
West Bloomfield,
Oak Park, Harrison, Adams. And then you look at what's going on with this team. Of course, they're just minding their own business and just like moving along.
They're taking care of their business.
Taking care of their own business. And this is a team right now that's 4-2. Looking at, I would say, an interesting schedule going forward, because you got Seaholm this week, Clarkston next week, and then of course you got Bloomfield Hills to close out the year. Of course, Bloomfield Hills is coming in undefeated, but they really haven't played anybody with the exception of maybe Ferndale. But other than that, they should be favored in two of their next 3 games.
Obviously, it seems like it's a very winnable schedule, but I do like the Dragons' mindset of taking it one game at a time.
And that's what they have to do. This is a team that has to take it one at a time, and they have to find a way, to overcome the negativity, and they've found a way to overcome it so far.
Do you think, well, I've noticed checking the OAA Red standings. Right now, Lake Orion has 1 loss.
Right.
Clarkston has 1 loss.
Right.
Southfield has 1 loss. West Bloomfield has 1 loss. All in league. There's a 4-way tie for the lead in the red. Is it a potential that Lake Orion could be in a position of maybe potentially winning a league title?
They've got to be Clarkston for that
That's
to
true.
get the reality, for that to be a reality. Of course, but you look at Southfield Arts and Tech, and you look at West Bloomfield. Of course, West Bloomfield and Clarkston, that's a big game this week for them, for those two down at Clarkston. And then you look at Southfield Arts and Tech. They got a very favorable schedule going forward.
Well, they still got to go to Oxford.
They still got to go up to Oxford, which is going to be a very difficult challenge for them. But, it all depends on this game, Lake Orion and Clarkston. That'd
be next week.
That would be next week. But right now, Lake Orion's stepping out of league right now. And, so it's an opportunity, to get ready to play Seaholm, interesting team because they're homecoming, they're in the Maple Forest, and it's going to be a very difficult challenge.
But have you noticed too? This is the first time that Lake Orion and Seaholm have played each other since 1999.
But Seaholm runs a very complex offense. It's called a pistol veer offense. If you want to know what that is, if you watch a team like a Georgia Tech, they run that triple option, very similar to that, except they run it out of a pistol formation. So I think it's going to be an interesting challenge for the Dragons going into that game, and I think it's going to give them some problems.
But you notice too, a lot of Seaholm stars. Give the fans a taste of what Seaholm, of what they have and what they bring.
Seaholm's mostly is a team that runs as I mentioned, Jim DeWall's done a really good job with that team. But they've had some down years though lately too. But Seaholm's a team, as I mentioned,
being in the white, obviously, it's very tough.
Yes, but Seaholm's a team that runs a triple option offense. It's a pistol. It's very similar to what Georgia Tech runs. When you watch a college football game and you watch Georgia Tech, how they run their offense, it's like a triple option. Whereas if you are a quarterback, you have a lot of options. You can run it yourself. You can give it to the running back, pitch it to the fullback, or you can basically throw it to wide receiver.
What about players
so
that they have?
Quarterback basically controls a lot of the things they do. It's the read option, dive option. The players they have, a lot of players that
we see them in basketball.
See them a lot in boys basketball. Of course, Seaholm,
Seaholm always in Lake Orion.
Seaholm and Lake Orion always play in boys basketball. But when you look at this one here, a lot of those players that play football also plays basketball as well. So it'll be a very interesting matchup. It's going to be a very interesting matchup. There are a couple players I'm very concerned of. Their tight end over there at Seaholm concerns me. Singletary, he's a good player. And then of course you got Berta Baker, their quarterback. He's not bad. And then of course the running back, he's also not bad. So it's going to be a very interesting challenge, especially for this defense. We're going to play assignment football, which is going to be something that we have not been accustomed to seeing since Adams.
Right, and obviously there's that concern of not playing Adams, to prepare for a veer. So it's like, but Seaholm's got to contend with that depth.
Yes, they got to contend with the depth.
Massive running back game. And
Orion has not really thrown a lot since that Oxford
They haven't needed to.
They haven't needed to. You know what I mean? So when I look at this game here, I think that it's going to be interesting. Seaholm be amped up for their homecoming game. Not sure why they're wearing white for their homecoming. Why they're having white
Orion
T-shirts.
wins?
I think Orion wins this game pretty badly.
All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about some not so happy moments here on Between Taorminas on ONTV.
Hello, I'm Oakland County Sheriff Mike Bouchard.
And I'm former Detroit Red Wing Joe Koster.
We'd like to remind you to practice safe boating by knowing the laws regarding water safety.
Please make sure you have the necessary safety equipment on board and be sure all of your equipment is working properly before leaving the dock.
And the probability of being involved in a boating accident nearly doubles when alcohol is involved. Always check local weather conditions, and if you notice darkening clouds, play it safe. Get off the water. Have a safe, enjoyable summer on the lake.
When I'm in Lake Orion and I want to catch up on sports, I watch Between Taorminas. own a Habitat home?
I love working on my Habitat home.
Soy dueño de una casa de Habitat.
My neighbor is a Habitat homeowner.
Being a Habitat homeowner has changed our lives.
My mortgage payment for Habitat is less than what I paid for rent.
Habitat for Humanity of Oakland County currently has homes available with mortgage payments lower than most rent payments. If you or someone you know needs decent and affordable housing, call 248-338-1843 or visit our website at habitatoakland.org.
Welcome back to Between Taorminas here on ONTV. Sammy, how you doing?
Hanging in there.
I want to talk about some not so happy moments.
Michigan State.
You want to talk about Michigan State and Michigan?
No. Yes. That still bothers
Let's talk
me.
about Michigan State losing the spittoon to Indiana.
It was a shame.
And you got rubbed in by Bob Bridges.
It was a shame because I'll tell you what right now. Michigan State, you know, Michael, I was disappointed in Michael Geiger. I thought he could have made that from 49. He's made a 50-yarder in the past. But I was very disappointed in their defense, the way they played in that last 10 minutes of that game in the fourth quarter. They gave up at least way too many yards. Malik McDowell, their best player, of course, he went to Southfield, was thrown out of the game. That was a huge loss there.
Do you think that was targeting or no?
I didn't think it was targeting.
Why did they think it was targeting?
According, I think, because of the crown of the helmet, I guess. Oh. But what bothered me was this team has not been the same without Riley Bola. Don't know what type of injury he's got, but this team needs him back real bad, real fast if Michigan State wants to go anywhere. The quarterback situation, of course, I'm not bashing Tyler O'Connor with what happened there in this game. I mean,
a lot of people are.
A lot of people are. I'm not bashing him. I'm not one of those guys to bash him. I just think but there's been some times he's made some mistakes in crucial games, crucial situations. But when you look at Michigan State, this is still a pretty young football team when you look at it. I mean, I'm not making excuses right now, but they're still a pretty young football team. And then on Michigan's standpoint, they beat Wisconsin 14-7. Got to give them credit, especially their defense. They're a very good defense.
Jordan Lewis had a one-handed
Yeah, Jordan Lewis, of course, he
interception.
went to Detroit Cast Tech, had a one-handed interception. I just think that what happened in that game was Michigan found a way to beat Wisconsin. Now, Wisconsin was up without one of their linebackers.
Right.
It kind of was disappointing how Michigan State did against Wisconsin and how Michigan actually found a way to beat Wisconsin. And and it's unfortunate, to see that happen against. But it tells you that is Michigan back right now? I mean, who knows? They might be back, and then they got to play. But November's going to be an important month, I think, even though October 22nd is going to be a huge day, I think, because that's when Michigan goes to East Lansing to play Michigan State. But
arguably one of their first road games.
Right, but Michigan hasn't been on the road yet, whereas Michigan State's been on the road twice. So we'll know a lot about Michigan.
1-1.
We'll know a lot about Michigan when they go on the road. I know Michigan State's got a very tough matchup this week with BYU. I got to find out who Michigan's playing. I'm not sure who they're playing yet this week.
So you're saying it's another mediocre opponent?
It may be another mediocre opponent for Corporate M.
So you think so?
Yes.
Going into it, one thing I noticed: Western Michigan top 25.
Yes,
beat Central this week.
In the coaches' poll, they beat Central pretty badly. Of course, Central, let's not forget, beat Oklahoma State.
Yep.
Albeit controversial, but but
they still beat them.
Win to win. Well, Western Michigan, I really like what PJ Fleck's done over there. He's built that program up. I know one Western Michigan guy named Kevin Kopak, of course. The
girls basketball
coach. He's right now rowing the boat right now, going like this. That's what Kevin Kopech's doing right now, rolling the boat like Western Michigan football, And I think when I look at Western Michigan, it would not surprise me if this team finishes undefeated. It really wouldn't.
Undefeated?
Even though they got to play Northern Illinois, which is going to be a very tough game for them.
Akron? Ohio?
Akron's not that good.
Kent State?
Kent State's not that good.
Oh.
But I'm telling you right now, it wouldn't surprise me at the end of the year, Western Michigan is undefeated.
You really think that?
I believe they can be undefeated.
You think that Western Michigan could go to a big-time bowl game?
They could. I think it wouldn't surprise me if they're one of the automatic. The problem is Houston. Houston's going to take that spot from the automatic non-qualifier. So I could see Western Michigan possibly going to a
major bowl.
But as long as
do you think they'll go to a New Year's Bowl or no?
I don't think they will because I think it's going to be Houston right now the way they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, with Tom Herman. But I think Western Michigan will go to a nice bowl game.
You imagine if Western Michigan played a Michigan State or Michigan in a bowl game?
Oh, that would be very interesting.
That'd be interesting.
If they play at Detroit, that would be very interesting.
Oh, that would be fun.
But I don't think it would be good for a Spartan fan because Michigan State, even though they got 2 losses and they're out of the playoff consideration now, but this team could still have a good season. They could still win the Big Ten. So I'm not pressing the panic button on Michigan State right now.
Well, do you think that it's now a 2-team race between Michigan and Ohio State?
Right now, you have to, but still both those teams got to go to East Lansing. You know what I mean? So that's going to be a tough game for both those teams. I mean, Ohio State's really been impressed, but so is Michigan. But I'm telling you right now, I think the best Big Ten team right now is Ohio State the way they're playing.
Well, they also beat Oklahoma.
Yeah, and also they beat Oklahoma. So Michigan really hasn't been, since Wisconsin, they really haven't been tested.
All right, you got any final thoughts?
When I look at it here, if you're a Spartan fan, it's not time to panic. They got BYU this week. It's going to be a very tough matchup, but it'll be a good matchup.
All right, we'll be right back with Between Taorminas here on ONTV.
Hello, Oakland County. This is Sammy Taormina talking OA Now. In it, we'll talk various stories ranging from the state to Oakland County teams affecting the OAA. Catch us here on OA Now.
Hello, Lake Orion. It's Anthony Taormina, co-host of Between Taorminas. I want to let you know of a new show called History Now. In it, we're going to talk about global, national, and political events that occur in our lifetime. We're going to also have guests and also have co-hosts as well, and also plenty of surprises. Catch us on History Now here on ONTV. Welcome back to Between Taorminas here on ONTV. Sammy.
I'm hanging in there.
Let's talk about 2 teams that
should have managers fired.
And Ian Weatherspoon is so proud of.
Ian Weatherspoon is proud that this beloved city of Cleveland is going to the playoffs in baseball. That the Cleveland Indians are taking on the Boston Red Sox in the divisional series. Isn't that lovely for Ian?
You think Ian Weatherspoon is? What do you think Ian would go like if he was looking about the Tigers?
He'd go like, "Yay! I owe Sammy dinner," or maybe we cancel out my dinner with the Pistons. So you think about it. Ian Weatherspoon must be excited. He must be very happy. He must be in a world of happiness right now because his smiling face is right now thinking about off season and that Brad Ausmus needs to get fired because here's why. Ian's got no one to blame but himself for losing 2 or 3 to the Atlanta Braves.
One of the worst teams in baseball.
One of the worst teams in baseball, and they were shut out 1-0. So, and you have your best pitcher pitching in Justin Verlander, and yet this team cannot figure out.
Didn't Verlander pitch a good game?
He pitched a good game, and yet this team cannot get a hit.
Can I get run support from him?
A run support for him. And it ended up costing them their season, and that's why they're done. They have no one to blame but themselves.
I mean, and then what do you think about the Lions?
I can't even explain it. It's hard for me to explain the Lions because Jay Sherrod right now somewhere must be smiling right now.
He probably had freshman football practice coaching his kids.
Right. But
deep down, I understand.
Deep down, he must be happy that they beat the Lions. The Lions this year are perhaps one of the worst putreds of sports history. I mean, if you think the Chicago Cubs curse is bad, this is bad. This is really, really bad because this has been a team that's been rebuilding since 1957.
Yeah, that's true.
They have not been able to win at anything. And this is a football team that really has got issues. They don't have their defensive line is not that good. They've given up 6 touchdowns to tight ends.
They got a good kicker again.
Huh?
They got a good kicker.
Who cares about the kicker?
Okay.
I mean, well, I'm saying to you, this team's got problems guarding against tight ends. They're getting up 6 touchdowns to them. And then this is a team that let Jordan Howard go off for 100 yards, a rookie from Indiana. And this is a football team that's got so many problems. I mean, Golden Tate got benched yesterday, which was disappointing and disturbing. But I think Jim Caldwell, in my opinion, he has to go because, the Lions have a new ownership group, new GM group, and they decided to keep Caldwell for another year. I think now is the time to let him go because this team is 1-3, and they're not getting any better. They really aren't getting any better.
Should they get rid of Stafford?
I don't think Matt Stafford's the problem because you look at what the Lions have. I mean, offensive line was not great, to begin with. They spent a lot of money inheriting on that offensive line, and yet, and a lot of draft picks on that offensive line, and yet they have not been able to produce with capability of what they should be. And I don't think Stafford is to blame for the Lions' issues here. I mean, I think, when you look at the running game, the lack of running game hurts. I know losing Amir Abdullah did not help things.
Right.
But I'm saying to you is the Lions, this is an organization that's an absolute complete mess.
Right.
Complete disaster waiting to happen. And right now, every Detroit Lions fan is sick and tired of believing in the hype
and then losing.
The Lions have every year. You see all the commercials about how they are getting ready for the year, go go like, and all of a sudden it's like, what the heck? What in the blue heck? And then that's why it's a loser.
One other thought. What is your take about you winning on ONTV fantasy football game for ONTV this week?
God bless Travis Kelce.
You beat John Atwater.
God bless Travis Kelce.
By 4 points.
Thank you for scoring a touchdown with 3 seconds left in the game to beat John Atwater.
3 seconds in the game?
Yeah, to beat John Atwater. I know he was so thrilled when he is now sitting at 0-4 on the season. Makes me happy to say this to John Atwater right now. I was 0-3. I had 2 bad weeks prior to coming in. And I'm going to say it's the ONTV Fantasy Football Show. I had 2 bad weeks coming in. I changed everything. Changed my team name. I'm now known as the Reawakening. And because it's going to be a reboot, it's a rebirth, it's a reawakening. And to start off hot, scoring 126 points against a team that really against a team that really did well in John Atwater's team, and to send him to 0-4, it makes me happy. It makes me real happy that I got my first win of the year, sent a message to the league that I'm back and I'm going to be ready to compete, and I'm going to win football games this year. And you know what? I will face Ian Locke, and I will face Joe Johnson again.
And Joe Velez.
And also Joe Velez. And I'm telling you right now, it is a reawakening. And of course, the reawakening, it started with John Atwater. It's going to keep rolling through the season. And it's going to be a positive influence. and I'm going to win and like it and enjoy it because I'm going to turn this season around. And that first win, putting up 126, it's going to be a start to a special turnaround for me this year.
All right. So
oh, wait, I got one more thought.
Okay.
I'm telling you right now, Aunt, the victory over John Atwater, and I thank Travis Kelce for scoring a touchdown with 3 seconds left for knocking off John Atwater. And I know how John Atwater's feeling right now. I've been there. But I'm telling you, to be on the winning side of things feels real good. And not just get humiliated by Joe Velez last week, but I'm telling you right now.
You've gotten humiliated by Ian Weatherspoon.
I've gotten humiliated by Ian Weatherspoon. They'll pay. They'll pay for it. I promise you. I guarantee you they will pay for it.
Okay, any final thoughts on the show?
Well, of course, the Dragons' interesting game with Seaholm this week.
Yes.
A lot of news, of course, they on the OA
Hazel
now.
Park.
Hazel Park in the
OA.
Could be a possibility. We'll talk about that on the podcast about what those ramifications are going to be if they decide to leave the league. So we'll see what happens.
All right. That will do it for this week's episode of Between Taorminas. All right, Lake Orion, have a great night and see you next week.